Happy holidays. So I would suggest everyone pay attention very close, because this is what we're discussing today, is the holiday pack. All this is the Damascus metal. These two and these four right here are the metal wire pack. This is all together. Okay, so let's discuss the method in which to use this. And this method will also work for a variety of other systems. However, it will not work for hyper. It will not work for random grain or glass grain. And it will not really necessarily work for tuning forks or phase, because these engines are done a little bit differently than the portraits. They're not necessarily portraits, and the way these kind of look. Okay, you know, X marks the spot. You guys can clearly see that looks like an inner tube or a life preserver. You know what I'm saying? You can clearly see that looks like a hex hive or something of some sort, like a wasp nest or something. I don't know. It's pretty cool. So look, let's get into it. Let me show you how it works, and let me explain some things. If you are on polar opposites, and I told you that because that's phasing it. So pulse with the 0 and pulse with the 127. If things are going in inversion, this is what's happening. If it's at 64 and 64, which I'll explain to you, that's right in the middle. Then it's going like that, from the middle out. Okay, to polar opposites and back. Excuse me, I'm hitting cameras and stuff. Alright, so let's go here. We'll go to slot 80. So this would be the hex hive sine one. So square minus a sine hex hive. Alright. Doesn't really sound like much. Sounds like maybe a wavetable or an oscillator of sort. Kind of glassy. Alright, so what you do is oscillator 1 is LFO1, pulse width source, and the pulse width source for oscillator 2 would be modifier 1, which basically is LFO1 inverted. You're going to want both of their amounts to be at plus 63 on the crank. Alright, and LFO speed to like 7 or something, and then star phase is 0. Modifier 1 is LFO1 XOR minus 1 on a constant. Okay? This is what you get. See, it's phased out now. We're also going to go to filter 1 and 2. We're going to set the key tracking up to 100% on each. Set it to serial killer mode. Filter 1 is going to be cutoff 59, reso 113. I told you 112 is percussive, 113 is a steady ohm. And we'll set the mod source up to envelope 3. Crank it on 63 plus. Envelope 3 is going to be need shut down on decay and sustain, so that's poor man's drive. Also, FM source for filter 1 is going to be LFO1 or whatever. Could be any LFO or envelope. I've told you that. If you use oscillator noise, it will be lower. You will need drive, actual drive. Make sure your FM amount is set to off, otherwise it won't work. FM source for oscillator or for filter 2 is oscillator 1. We'll turn that up to about 64 or something. Both filters are set on bypass right now because I want to explain and show some stuff. Alright, so these are polar opposites. Yes, you can change the footages to all this stuff. It's just like any other oscillator or wavetable or whatever. By programs, you can change the footages. Semitones also apply. You can tune everything, you detune. Everything applies to this stuff that applies within the Blofeld's system parameters. Any knob or any function, it all applies to this stuff, and it all works. It fits right in on key. You'll never miss a beat. You'll never be out of tune. You just have to know how you're tuning your instrument. You tune from octave to octave, and anything in between, which would be major or minor, second, third, and then the perfect fourth, fifth, and then the augmented fourth and diminished fifth. and then obviously major 6th and 7th, and minor 6th and 7th, stuff like that, and then to octave. So you just would have to understand music theory in that respect. Now I know it goes back to this phase cancel, because you got to set oscillator 1, FM source oscillator 2. Or 1. The reason why I always usually have it going to oscillator 2 is because oscillator 2 is always in the inversion factor of oscillator 1. That's how you should probably want to do this to get the most out of it. But this is at bare minimum. The basic is crazy. This is a badass box. It's like an emulator. It's like playing a Super Nintendo on a Nintendo Wii. You know, you could just play that. I forgot to tell you, filter 2's resonance should be at 60, cutoff at 71, and FM source oscillator 1 obviously 64. FM is also like a patch cable. I've already explained this to you. Reflecting the oscillator. These oscillator 1 and 2 are going to filter 1, and filter 1 is feeding into filter 2, and filter 2 is reflecting oscillator 1 via FM. So you can get real wacky complex sounds with bare minimum programming. Do stuff like this. Cone filter. See, this is how you work it. And now this same method will work for like sigils, you know, liquid metal, stuff like that. These methods will work for the same for those type of engines. It's just that you're going to have a different type of color and flavor because liquid metal is not Damascus metal. It's mercury, for Christ's sakes. I mean, come on. Now, you notice I'm just now changing the slots over. I'm on now slot 85, which is X. Marks the spot. And you notice that I was just only on one thing. You've seen a variety of stuff. That's the thing. One program can give you enough kit for one song. You understand what I'm saying? One program has enough variation that if you screw around with it enough, you can have enough kit for one song, a good song, a nice full song. You can create layers and all types of stupid shit with one program. If I take this over here to the metal wire X, it's going to sound a bit different. That's what you call a silicon orchestra right there. I'll catch you on a flip. I just wanted to drop this video off for the holidays. This is the free holiday pack. Anybody who has not gotten at me, please do. I will be more than obliged to share this with you. Please get to the store, www.tradercrow.com. That is my official website. You can get everything there for the cheapie. And when I say for the cheapie, the price is right. and you get a plethora of stuff. Breathe new life into a blockbuster budget box that will beat the shit out of any synth, hands down. And this is the baby Quantum. We've unlocked it. I've already proven that by putting resonators within it and all types of other stuff. There's the list of stuff that's inside of here that I've already created, and you could have it. You know what I'm saying? I'll catch you on a flip. Subscribers, trolls, I know you molten. Whoops.